Hey guys, Matt and Scott here from the Old 77. Just wanted to take a moment and say, have you heard about Anchor yet?
It's a great way to do a podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, Anchor's got all of this stuff for you. Get analytics. We're online, everywhere. Apple, Google, and they did all of that for us. We didn't have to submit anything.
Nope. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Right, so no computer, no problem.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hey there, this is the Old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world.
All right, here's your f***ing warning.
Foul language may occur due to the subject matter. This is the one and only Old 77.
Help ensure future episodes by becoming a subscriber.
Find out more at patreon.com/the Old 77 podcast. Now, let's get on with the show.
So did you guys hit like a certain neighborhood? Where did you guys go?
We always
on
go
Halloween?
to Constitution.
That's the nice houses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, they're swang.
That's
Yeah.
Monticello Acres.
A lot of
Yes.
Trump over there, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My boy was totally, like, anti.
So this is what
Oh, they're voting for Trump? And I was
Dude.
like, hey, man, do you want their candy or not?
Right. Half the houses by my house are flying Trump flags. Right now.
Most of them were. That's okay.
So here's what I think is hysterical: people who are so pro-Trump, yet they weren't handing out Halloween candy.
Yeah, there was
why?
quite a few
why?
of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
there
like,
was quite a few. There was quite a few of them that were down.
yeah,
That whole neighborhood usually just rocks.
yeah.
And it was maybe under half.
Oh, I would say operating at a.
Do you think that
I was
was?
thinking maybe half of what it usually is.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe under that a little bit.
Yeah.
So do you think
I
a
was
lot
gonna
of
say
that was
third.
because of COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
What was the official recommendation with COVID and trick or treating?
You know, honestly, I don't remember.
I would think that you would probably be pretty safe trick or treating.
I thought it was wear a mask, don't stay around anyone for more than 15 minutes.
right, and obviously like
And
don't
if
go
you
in anybody's house.
Well,
you
and
know?
if you stay outside,
Mhm.
and that's the noticeable difference. Like everyone was outside.
yeah,
People were sitting.
and
A lot
it's-
of people were trying to scare kids. That was great.
yeah, I scared my kids last night. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, man. It was a good Halloween. We never have any trick or treaters at our house.
Yeah, I bet not.
I
So-
mean, I wouldn't know why.
I bet not.
Yeah, maybe it's all the no trespassing and keep out signs that I put in my driveway.
It could be that. It could be the fact that you're in the middle of BFE.
Yeah, yeah.
Thinking it might be the option too.
Yeah.
Either or. I mean, you have to have a 4-wheel drive to get to your house sometimes, I think.
And I don't have a 4-wheel drive.
I know.
You know,
so I just stay home.
with you.
It's on the list.
Yeah,
I
here
my,
you are.
Here I am. My next vehicle, I'm pretty sure, is going to be a
4-wheel
4-wheel
drive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I need
I think
to.
you'd almost need it, man. That hill.
Yeah. Our last purchase was the van for obvious reasons.
Obvious
'cause we had
reasons.
kids.
Yeah.
So we've got our old black Honda Accord that has
That thing's a trooper, man.
tons of hail damage, you know, but
I feel your pain there.
hey man,
Yeah.
I've always had good luck with Hondas.
Yeah.
I've always had great luck with Hondas. They're a little more expensive up front, but man, are they reliable.
We've had good luck with Hyundai.
Hyundai's a good one too, man.
Hyundai. Yeah, I would love to have the new Palisade, but I think it's a little too big for me.
Yeah.
I just want a truck at some point.
Yeah,
Really.
did you ever drive a truck in your younger
Yeah, I've
years?
had a truck.
I had one for a short while.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them.
Did you use it for truck things? Did you haul wood or like help people move?
Yeah, I helped a couple of buddies move.
See, that's the thing when you get a truck, man. People are always going to be asking.
Well, I
you-
had a friend one time call me from St. Louis to come down. He'd bought a couch set and could not figure out how to get it home.
Mm-hmm.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
So I drove an hour and a half to get to him.
Hopefully, he made it worth your while.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he
James?
technically was my best friend.
Yeah.
Is my best friend.
I used to, for the short while that I had a truck, I was always being asked, "Hey
Yeah.
man, can you help me move this? Can you help me move that?"
We had Scott's dad's old truck, which was nicknamed Rattling Red. Unbeknownst to me, his father didn't know that at the time, and I insert foot mouth. That was
Happens.
great.
Yeah.
And that was early on in our relationship, but we
He liked
used,
you, though, so-
We used Rattling Red a lot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, my favorite memory is we were getting landscaping blocks and the bed was scratched to hell.
Mhm.
So we're at Walmart and we're loading them, and the lady that's
It's a young girl.
a Walmart associate was there. She was helping, and Scott goes, "Don't scratch the bed." And she just looked at him like, are you freaking serious?
And it was all scratched to hell, man.
Yeah.
It looked like Wolverine had been up in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's teasing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Rattle and Red.
I
That was a
forgot
good
her
tr-
looking like, really?
I drove that
Yeah.
truck for the longest time. I would always drive it up until winter because it was a rear-wheel drive
Then
truck.
I'd take over.
And then he'd have to drive it because I didn't know how to drive it in the winter. And he could figure out not to die. And I, on the other hand,
It's
could
not
not.
bad if you just figure it out. I mean, you just take your time.
I've actually had pretty good luck in my little Honda Accord in snow.
But you know what? I've never drove here, though, out in the rural areas, because it's a heck of a lot hillier here.
Yeah, well, you know that big hill that you have to go up to get by my house.
Right?
That's not the hill to take after a
I bet
big
not.
snow.
Well, I bet your driveway, like, once you get kind of off the pavement there, once it turns to rock, I bet that is terrible in the winter.
It can be.
Yeah.
I remember there was one day last year when somebody wanted me to come in for work, and I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I made
totally believe
I made
that.
it out of my driveway, and literally made it like 10 feet,
Yep.
and it was done.
And that's right there at that hill, too.
Yeah, I hadn't even made it to the hill yet. Actually, it was funny because there was like a UPS driver or somebody that came right up behind me. No, actually, it was a snowplow. It was a guy on a snowplow. And he came up behind me, and I had to ask him to help push me out, and so then I just like went back down the driveway with my tail between my legs and I can't make it into work today.
guys.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll change soon.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That'd be cool.
I'll think of another reason not to come into work. though.
Absolutely better.
Family
I'll be
emergency.
disappointed in you if you don't.
That, I think, is where I'm spoiled now that we've lived in
Oh, I
town
know.
so
And you live
long
so
here
close.
that
I love that.
I don't like. I love where you're at. Like I like the thought of that because I'm a hermit.
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't really like people that much, even
Me
though I
too.
know that comes. If anybody knows me, they're like, "What? I don't understand."
Introverts will
I
understand.
don't think anybody that knows you really is listening to this podcast.
True, but
Maybe
so
a few. I doubt it.
I have a label. I'm an omnivert.
Yeah, I know what that is. It's combinations of both, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what I am too. I also say that sometimes I say that I'm extroverted in spite of my introversion
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I feel like there's so much pressure in the world to be extroverted.
Yeah.
So I try to put that out, but I don't think that's really who I am at my core.
I always just joke and say I'm an introverted extrovert, and then I got to looking and I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you're just an omnivert. Get it over.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Now, is that like a real term? Because I've seen that term like on Facebook, but I don't know. Is that like a real thing? Is that a
Omnivert?
term that they
oh,
actually
absolutely.
use? They do? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. You guys ever take any of those personality test things that
Oh, online?
You can
yeah.
sway
I mean, like,
those.
there's some legit ones though. I'm not talking about like the Facebook ones.
You mean the profiling ones?
There's one like where I can't even remember what it's called. My mom would know. But you end up with 4 letters, and I am an INFJ.
Ah, yes, I've taken that. I took one of those at a event.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tend to be like, I know this is a huge shock. I'm a helper. I want to help people.
Yeah. I've got a lot of that too. Yeah. INFJ. I can't remember what any of that shit stands for. Have you ever taken any of those
No, I have
tests?
no idea what that is.
Yeah. I could Google it, but that's okay.
So it is a. Let me find
Andrea's
it.
doing the
Of course she
I
is.
the
am.
Googling over
And it's
here.
funny because Dave has the computer where all the sound effects and
It's
the
the
YouTubes
advocate
and the Googlers.
personality type.
What's
the
it
what
called?
now?
The advocate personality type. So it's intuitive, feeling, judging, and introverted
Uh-huh.
are the 4 things.
Yeah.
And depends on where you
fall in
range.
that spectrum.
And so when we did it at a event that it was funny because like the F, which is the they were all like the look at me people,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones that were just like, ooh, sorry guys,
It's okay.
I hit it, I punched it. And then there
Andrew's
was
getting aggressive with the mic over
there was another, I forget, like very black and white. There
Mhm.
was no gray.
Yeah.
And then all the were like the really helpful and the very intuitive and the ones that wanted it to be a certain way kind
Yeah.
of thing. And so
And that's
I was
what
like,
you fell into?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny because that pretty much is our roles.
Right.
And I'm like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, at least hopefully that tells you that you're in the right line of work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever like to be the center of attention, unbeknownst to what some people may think. I don't like to be in the spotlight. I'd rather just be helping.
Yeah.
I want my praise when it's due.
Me too.
But I don't need to be like, oh, the best,
Yeah.
actress award goes to. I'd be the supporting role.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like because I play guitar and I play
Did I
in front
mess
of
it
people a lot, people think that that's just like I don't know, it's different like if I'm just in a room with one person, then I'm more shy about it than I am like if I know I'm being paid to play music for people.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Then it's just like a job. Just like if I
because
worked
it's
in
how
retail.
you change your mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not in the right mindset for it, then it ain't happening. You know what I mean. If you...
Well, that was like before I did pictures. I was very shy and kind of quiet. And I mean, I was mouthy with Scott, but I was.
Sometimes, yeah.
I wasn't ever like super mouthy.
Sorry.
And so with pictures, you have to be like super aggressive, and that's why I stopped doing weddings, because groomsmen and bridesmaids make me want to freaking punch people.
Is it because they're so picky?
It's because they're grown ass kids and they don't freaking listen and they don't do what you tell them to do. And exactly, the guys are usually drunk, the girls are usually worried about who they're gonna take home, and it's frustrating.
Seriously, that's a thing?
Yes.
Who knew?
Wish I knew that.
The Wedding Crashers, they knew.
So,
I was never a Wedding Crasher type guy.
dude, you just hit me in the nose.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
Got microphones and cables flying all over the place over here. Well, you did a good job during our session. I gave you a shout out 1 or 2 episodes ago.
Thanks.
But no, you did a good job of like being assertive with my kids, but also being nice.
Yeah, I mean, but you have to keep in mind too.
But you have kids, so
How
you
old
know
are
the
your
drill.
boys?
4.
Exactly. And their attention span is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And after 10 minutes, they were over it. And
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I'm over it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different when you have like an 18-year-old who is doing senior pictures
Right.
and they're really feeling it. And usually for that instance, the first few pictures you take are what I call the warm-up pictures, because you're getting used to me. I'm getting used to you. I'm trying to feel you out to see what makes you tick and what doesn't make you
what
tick.
approaches work.
Right. And for me, sarcasm is everything. I tend to be a super sarcastic person. But when it comes to little kids,
Much more direct.
Yes, and I try to keep it short and sweet, because
Yeah.
I know their attention span is fading. And I
Right.
know that mom and dad, especially mom, is like, I just want this one thing.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
Right.
And anytime I ever plan anything, then it goes to shit.
Yep.
And I'm like, been there, done that. I get it.
Yep.
But because they're not my kids, they're your kids, I'm going to have more patience. Trust me.
Yeah.
If the shoe was on the other foot, I'd be losing my ish and I'd be calling my kids not nice names.
And usually the kids will also be more patient too when it's
Right.
somebody new. It's,
Well,
when it's not
and
mom and dad.
I found too that if you take treats and you have rewards, it's no different than a dog that goes outside.
For sure.
Oh,
There you
dang.
go.
Yeah, bribery.
You're gonna equate handling children to dealing with dogs?
Well, I do keep my kids in a little larger pen than my dogs.
But think about it. I mean,
I wish I could kennel
seriously.
my kids during the day.
So funny that you
At least my dog will hopefully one day stop pooping in the floor.
Right.
So it's funny that you say that, because one of our daughter's good friends, they have 5 kids. Their family has 5 kids, and her mom said to me yesterday, in fact, she goes, "So you're just up to speed with us. Just 3 of yours happen to have 4 legs." I was like, and I can put them in kennels and I don't get judged for it.
Right.
Yeah. Man.
And it's all the reward system. You do good, you get a reward.
Yeah. And you also have to be consistent.
Yeah. And
Like if you say you're going to do some bad shit, you got to do the bad shit.
Unfortunately.
It's a hard one for my wife to
That's where I fail as well.
Yeah, I do sometimes too.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm a hard ass. Because if you're not
Yeah.
a hard
Oh, you got
ass,
a whip over there, man? Too bad we didn't have one.
I don't know. Hold on. Scroll down. Keep going, Andrea.
I mean, if you're not a hard ass, then it's an empty threat.
They'll walk all over you.
fuck no, we got to pay 50 more cents to get the whip.
Dude.
Yeah.
You could do the cow.
We'll just do the zipper.
Right. Hit again. There we go.
So I do the 4 Christmas gift rule. Something they want, something they need, something to wear, and something to read. And they've been so bad lately. It doesn't help the 2 full moons in 1 month.
Yeah, no, all
Right,
it's
we had a
all
blue
happening
moon.
at once right now,
And
guys.
so-
Isn't this when the Sanderson sisters can come back on a blue moon?
Right? And the Virgin lights the candle.
I'm telling you, man, it's all converging.
Right.
Well, and aren't we getting ready to go into retrograde again?
Yes.
I don't
whatever
know.
whatever that means.
Mercury retrograde, which means everybody's going to be super bitchy.
Do you believe in astrology, Andrea?
Oh, yeah.
A lot. Yeah, I find that most of the, because I'm a Cancer, I find that by and large, most of the traits that Cancers are supposed to have, I have. I
My
think.
mom's a Cancer, so yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Yikes.
obviously with Cancer, like the metaphor is that you're the crab. So like with Cancers, we're very we have our protective shell. We don't let very many people inside. You know.
That to a degree for her. I mean, at this point,
And we tend to be like, even when we're not okay, we say we're okay, just because we don't want people to think that we're not okay. That's
yeah,
me.
No, that's
That
not
doesn't
my
match mom at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, no, that doesn't.
Well, there are some people that astrology doesn't match up
Right.
very well. You know.
Well, I'm considered to be an Aquarian, and so, they're the water
yeah, they're
symbol.
water sign.
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
And water is very calming for me. I think that's why I want to go to the ocean, because it is my place of zen.
Mm-hmm.
Although the last couple of times I've been has not been zenful, and I would rather have just stayed home.
Yeah.
But yeah, like usually that's my calming. That
I think Cancer's a water sign too, right? I think.
I have no idea.
Do you? What are you, Scott?
Capricorn.
I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah. What are Capricorns supposed to be like, and do you match?
I have no idea.
You don't even. You've never just had never had
No,
any interest in it.
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't buy into all that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't honestly know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know either. I think there could be some truth embedded in there somewhere.
okay, Mr. Merriman.
I do believe that things happen in cycles.
Yeah.
Everything in the universe is a cycle, you know.
I get that.
So,
It's funny that you say that, because unpopular opinion would say, and this is my unpopular opinion, that COVID, the pandemic, it's my thought process is that it's Earth's way of resetting the balance.
Could
it is
be.
a population control.
So instead of the zombie apocalypse, we got COVID.
We got COVID, yeah. Well, man, I mean, a buddy of mine just posted on Facebook a day or two ago that he's now got it for the second time.
Ugh.
And in so many words, he said, this shit's not going away, and things are going to be probably pretty dark for a while.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh, it'll probably be a good half.
We've got another year.
Maybe a year and a half,
before
2 years of this.
before we get we get a vaccine. You think?
No, before
No.
any of it
Before
starts
it gets under
bedding down.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we start bedding any of it down.
Well, we
Well,
just broke records like a day or two ago.
And we're going to keep doing that, man.
Seems like it.
We're headed for another shutdown.
I think we are.
Unfortunately.
I think we are.
Yeah.
So
They just shut down in
Illinois.
did they?
They're shutting down Illinois, I think, as of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Really? Wait.
Happy election.
Uh,
You're
Well,
shut
I'm
down.
assuming they're not going to do that. I'm assuming
well,
you still
I
be able
would
to go to
assume.
the polls.
Yeah, I would assume you'd be able to go to the polls to vote.
Yeah. I voted early this year. I voted. Like
I voted
a month
as
ago.
well. I voted yesterday or Thursday.
Where'd you go? Did you go to the courthouse?
Yeah, I went downtown.
Yep.
To the annex.
It's funny because
Yeah.
I told him exactly where to go, and he's looking at me like, "Why do you know this?"
Well,
And I had
yeah.
just had to renew my notary for
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, I've
so-
had to go there a time or two.
Well, it was funny because I rolled up behind the place and there was some cops outside smoking, and I had my Old Navy jacket that everyone jokes they say because it looks like an FFA jacket.
Uh-huh.
I had my FFA jacket on, and it was open just a little bit, so you could see like a quarter of the seal.
Uh-huh.
And one of the cops come up, and he was smoking. I was like, "Hey, gents," I was like, "Hey, man, where do you go vote around here?" I was like, "I'm looking to vote early. I've got this issue." And he's like, "Hey, it's just right around over here." And he had this real thick accent. He's right around over here. He's like,
Yeah.
"I don't know." You could tell he was a Marine too, because he was
Yeah.
cut in the way he was acting.
Right.
I don't know if they let Navy men. They go up in there and vote. And I was like, "Man, you know the ladies, they love the seamen. Well, I'll tell you, I'll see you later." And I took off. He's like, "Yeah."
You guys were cracking jokes, huh?
Yeah, it was so awkward. I felt so weird, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to him, you were wearing an Old Navy.
Right. He
Yeah.
had no idea what it was. He took a stab in the dark.
So here's a funny story. I think I told you guys about the time I took my boys to one of the elementary schools, and the cops showed up because some neighbor
Yeah.
thought that we shouldn't be there, even though there was literally nobody there. So when the cops showed up, mind you, this was in like maybe April. There was no school in or anything, I don't think. You know, the lady called because she was concerned about us being on the playground during COVID. You know,
Right.
and one of the cops' rationale for not, giving me any shit over it was that he thought it would go away when it got warmer, and clearly that has
Yeah.
not happened.
No.
Oh my gosh, we went to the school playground lots of times. In fact, the friend that I was referring to earlier, they live right across the street from the school, and she just sends her kids on over there a lot of the time just to play.
Yeah,
Because kids need to play. They need to burn off that energy.
Right. They do
Yeah.
need that.
they do. They do, and when they don't get it, man, you can tell.
Okay, so I'm going to revert back to something really quick. You were asking about the Capricorn personality traits, and Mr. Merriman didn't know what they were.
All
Here
right,
we-
let's
here
hear
we
him.
go.
Let's hear him.
Okay, hardworking, ambitious, responsible, and then the 3 negative ones are pessimistic, workaholic, and stubborn. I will definitely agree with the 3 negative ones.
I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, but
I don't
like,
feel like I'm a workaholic.
wasn't that one of the pros too, though? Like a hard worker. It was just kind of worded differently. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that fits you? I think you're a hard worker. I definitely think you're a hard worker.
Man, I don't know.
I think you're stubborn, and I think you're pessimistic.
You can be pessimistic.
Yeah, I'll definitely give you those.
He's a negative Nelly.
I am a negative Nelly, and my boy has it too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I
Sorry.
I get that way sometimes too.
It's
think
hard trying to discipline the you out of your kid.
Right. Yeah. It's a little.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. I haven't gotten all the way there yet with mine, but I
Oh, it's coming, man.
already,
It's coming.
I already have in my brain my little predictions of who's going to have what traits as they get older.
Yeah.
You know.
So here's some positive ones for Cancer: loyal, protective, intuitive, and caring. And then the negatives were overly sensitive, moody, and vindictive.
I'm not vindictive, I don't think at all, but
I
I
don't
am.
think so.
I'm overly sensitive, and I can be moody. Jesse would probably
Yeah,
tell you that I
yeah.
can be moody sometimes.
I think any creative person can be very moody at
Yeah,
times.
and I think also creative people are much more prone to depression and
Absolutely.
anxiety, because I think that all also goes back to being sensitive, at least for me.
For feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Mhm.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I downloaded a podcast on Spotify, and it's called Cancer Today. It's like a daily horoscope, but I haven't listened to it a single time yet. So, I think that the Cancer traits match up to me pretty well, but I'm not one of those people that does a daily horoscope.
I
Or
was going to say, do you plan
No.
your day around your horoscope?
no,
Can't go out today because your horoscope says this?
No, but I do kind of try to pay attention to little signs from the universe. I think that you understand what I mean. Like,
I get that.
Like when I get a vibe,
Yeah.
when I get a vibe that something's not right,
Man, follow your gut.
I'm almost always right. And that can be like in a situation, like in a social situation, but it can also be like a decision in my own life, 100 times out of 100 when I haven't trusted my gut,
Yeah.
it has not worked out well for me.
Yeah, I get that.
I always have the little voice in my head saying, "Dave, it's not a good idea, bro."
Yeah.
And sometimes you try to ignore that voice and you get burned.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's always that voice when you get burned that comes back like,
Yeah.
And then the next time it comes around like, you remember that last time?
Right, yeah.
And so you're just you're worried if you're making the right one or not.
Right. Who do you think that voice in your head is?
For me, it's
Yeah.
my father.
Is it? Okay.
I'm totally that kid that's still chasing after his dad's approval.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it's funny, man.
100%.
It's funny because, my dad lived 500 miles away from me for most of the time when I was growing up, but still to this day, I still hold like a certain amount of reverence for my father,
Right.
just because he's my father.
Well, I think it's because, when you're a guy and you have another guy in your house all of a sudden, there's that shift that starts happening, and
Right.
especially when they hit their 10s to their teenagers
Yeah.
to their later ons.
It's important to have a male figure when
But
you're a
it's,
male.
I mean, I think it's almost evident that every kid is going to, at some point try to fight their dad, right?
Yeah, oh, sure.
Like, every boy wants to do that.
Yeah, it's only natural.
Right.
But in reality, chances are Dad had those same exact traits too.
Exactly.
When he was a
and he
kid.
felt that way when he was a kid, and his
Yeah.
dad felt that way when he was a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I often wonder about, what's the source of that? Like Freud would call it the superego, I guess, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not up on my Freud.
So
I do know he would say that your flying dreams were really dreams about sex.
Yeah, he was big into
I always wondered
kids
then-
wanting to have sex with their
Right.
parents.
Well, that was so weird because then what were you dreaming about when you were having sex?
Right. Well, that goes back, as you know, that
Picnics?
goes back into like Greek mythology, like the Oedipus Rex story is very Freudian. You know the
Yeah,
Oedipus
yeah,
Rex
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oedipus.
Yeah. No, so Freud had there were three parts of your psyche. There was your ego, which is where you are most of the time mentally. There's your id, which is like your instinct, And then there's your superego, which is like your higher self. So it would be like the voice in your head, your conscience, that part of you that reflects and thinks, should I do this? Should I not do that? That's your superego.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I believe in all of that shit.
Yeah, man. That's
I mean, it definitely makes sense a lot, and I do when I think about it, I do feel like those are kind of like three distinct parts of a person's personality,
But not every person can be broke down like that, I don't think.
No, I think we're much more complex than just that.
I mean, people are more than just three parts.
Yeah. So do you know Carl Jung? You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Carl Jung was a psychologist that studied closely with Freud, but then he broke with Freud because he thought that he was getting a little too crazy with
breaking it all down.
Yeah. So Jung is the guy that coined the term archetype. You heard that word before? Yeah. It's like almost like your persona, sort of. And
It's like the deep down core you self, like you.
Yeah. He was very I don't know, he was much more, I guess you could say, like spiritual than somebody like Freud was. And I don't know, part of the reason why Jung broke with Freud may be because,
because he was breaking maybe from the more spiritualistic side of it.
Maybe that, but I was going to say maybe because he was coked up all the time.
Well, that could be too.
Yeah.
That was back in the day, though. When you'd go to
to the corner store and
Doc,
get some
my
coke.
foot hurts, and he'd be like, "Oh, you got ghost in your blood.
Yeah. Have
Here,
some
take some
heroin.
cocaine.
Yeah.
Mix it in your soda that also has cocaine."
That's the original
Right.
scissor right there,
Yeah,
man.
ooh,
Before
man.
Lil Wayne had it.
Right.
Did you see Lil Wayne came out and endorsed Trump?
I did not.
Yeah, I've been
Man.
waiting for that endorsement. This whole election cycle, I've been thinking, yeah, but what's Lil Wayne gonna do? Who's he voting for?
Right. Man, I gotta hold out my vote and wait until Lil Wayne decides for me.
That's an important endorsement. Yeah.
Call or text the Old 77 listener line at 573-246-0779.
Now I'm a gal who's been around. I've known men poor and rich, yeah. And seems like every man I've found goes for the gal who serves him Schlitz. So listen, honey, and take it from me. There's just one Schlitz. Oh, yeah, nothing else comes near. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. Now I won't guarantee social success with Schlitz, but it can't hurt. You see, it's most carefully brewed for flavor, gusto, and aroma. Pure beer without beer bites. Schlitz, like I said, honey. If you like it light with a big taste too, there's only one brew that will do. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer.
Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company, Milwaukee, and other great cities.
So I know, like, we don't want to get too political on this podcast.
Yeah, because by the time this airs, the election's going to be way over.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, we will have seen
I'm not
at
so
least
sure.
a winner.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, man.
Right.
I'm not so sure it will be over by the time people hear this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we'll still be wondering by the time January rolls around.
Probably.
They'll be fighting. But I can't wait because I did read something somewhere. I'm not as cool as you two and have voted already. I'm going to vote on Tuesday.
Yeah, same for the
But
wife.
if
Yeah,
somebody if somebody asks me how long I've been waiting, I'm going to so be sarcastic and be like, 4 years. I've been waiting 4 years.
I don't get it.
She's been waiting 4 years to vote this clown out.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Got it?
Yeah. Well, just be careful.
God love you.
Just be careful at those
Right. That's
polls,
what I
sister.
tell my kids.
Did you guys hear about
I've heard there's like talk of armed militias at the polls.
I think that's more than talk, dude.
Yeah, I think that's like a legit thing.
Did you guys see what happened to the Biden bus yesterday?
Yes. Yeah.
That he was getting run off the road?
Yeah, they canceled the event, actually.
Yeah.
My favorite is the souped up trucks that keep floating around town. I saw
Oh,
several of them
here?
today when I was
Yeah.
out just running a few errands, and I was like, seriously?
Yeah, there was one at the gas station when I gassed up on
Like,
my way over here.
You can take that flag and shove it up your butthole.
They're all over by my
I
house.
do feel
man.
that way, too.
But I will say this. So I went to, is Fulton in Callaway County?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Okay, so I was going to one of the wineries over there to visit some Edward Jones friends. And on my way, because it's in the middle of BFE, there were lots of Biden signs
Oh, really?
and things. And I was like, aw, for every, 5 Trump, there was 1 Biden. And every time I'd see a Biden, I'd go, honk, honk.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, thank you, finally.
Yeah. There's one when you turn off a Highway 94 to go towards my house, there's a big Biden sign out there. He takes it out every night
I
Yeah,
don't blame you.
I
and
don't blame him.
puts it back every morning.
I don't blame him at all.
And honestly, I mean, it's not like the same thing's not happening with Trump signs too.
Oh,
I'm not trying
absolutely.
to say that it's just
That was
just him.
so.
It's just nice to see opposing. You
Yeah.
know, 'cause even now, I feel like with it being still so politicized, it's
Yeah.
nice to see some opposing in the same state.
yeah, for
Or
sure.
the opposing side in a state like ours that's, very one-sided.
Yeah, they're out there, man.
Yeah.
As you know from living where you
Oh, absolutely.
where you grew up in, they're out there, man.
Mine was the reverse, or ours was the reverse. So Chicago was very Democrat.
very blue. Yeah,
Very downstate was very red.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff from back home, and it's Trump everywhere.
yeah. Just like Missouri, other than Kansas City, St. Louis, and
Right.
Columbia, maybe Springfield.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting, man. My prediction is that it. I hope I'm wrong. I'm afraid that it's gonna end up in the courts,
Oh, I'm sure it will.
and if that happens,
Well, there was a point to quickly bring in another Supreme Court justice.
8
'cause-
days before the election.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. If you have that opportunity.
I guess
guess.
so. I guess so, man. But the tables were turned 4 years ago.
Years ago. Yeah, and
So.
it never happened.
That's the thing about it, man. Is I think that the two opposing sides are playing by a completely different set of rules.
Well, I was listening to an NPR segment the other day where they were talking with a psychologist, and he was talking about like it's funny because it kind of tosses back to your everything comes in cycles.
Yeah.
And it was like, when you follow history and you have like after a bit of a depression and then you come up and you have all these different ways that people start to behave. Like,
Yeah.
we're kind of behaving again like the rise of World War II.
Absolutely,
Where the
we are.
rise of, fascism is becoming popular.
Yeah.
And it's becoming common.
Yeah.
And accepted as common.
Yeah, and my only hope is that pendulum will start to swing back the other way.
Man, I don't know. Once that Band-Aid's been ripped off, can we put it back on?
Yeah.
Because I feel like now...
Even if Trump loses, we're still in a world of shit.
Right. Well, it's like I told our boy last night when we walked up to some of these places and he was like, "These guys are voting for Trump," and I'm like, dude, do you want their candy or not?
You're right.
Because after the election and it's all said and done, and that guy goes away, or if he goes away, or whatever, you're still gonna have to live next to this guy. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
We went up and got candy.
Yeah.
But we're still gonna have to live next to them.
Yeah.
The only thing that I hate is I feel like now, because everything has been so politicized, I feel like all those Trump supporters are absolute racists.
Well,
Not all of them are, and I know that, but that's
Right.
how I feel like if you're going with that, like, then
you're at least complacent.
you're okay with it.
And, this is a very unpopular thing to say, but I think it's true. Just because you voted for Trump doesn't mean you're a racist. But if you're a racist, you probably voted for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. But again, I don't think it helps to generalize, man.
No.
Just like every liberal, like me, doesn't want...
It just gets so old, you know?
Yeah.
Especially being surrounded by people who don't think like I do, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah, me too.
I think where my biggest frustration comes from is then you have the other two people that are going to be on the ballot. And I know for a fact that some people are going to vote for them. And I guess for me, if they can't even get a ticket into the lottery, why do we even put them on there?
You're talking about the third-party candidates?
Yeah, like Joe Jorgensen and
Kanye West.
And
God, is he on the ballot? in
I think he's
Missouri?
on. I think he's on the ballot in some states.
I didn't see him.
He was not on my ballot.
You know
in
what?
Missouri.
Hold on.
Yeah. You
But
gonna pull it up?
I took a picture of my ballot.
Did you? I did too. Actually, it's in my phone book somewhere.
My hope is that if we want to give people another option to vote
Yeah.
and truly let their vote matter,
Right.
then I wish the Electoral College would allow those other votes to be heard.
It should be popular vote, dude.
I don't think it should be. I really don't.
So are you saying because the fact that so much of the country is red and most of the blue is in the big cities, like is it an underrepresentation thing for you?
It is a representation thing. I do feel like the way it is now, it's not perfect, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have anything on Earth currently working, maybe something in the past that has long died out, but nothing that we know of is working nearly as well as this does. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we need to shift that to popular opinion. I mean, popular opinion, I feel like, yes, that could be sometimes the right thing, but in times like we had before, it could also be the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And we need that safeguard in place to elect our leaders like that. What I feel is really wrong with the Electoral College is you have states that have passed laws that lock their vote in, basically saying they can't have a change of conscience. If they do, they'll be prosecuted afterwards, or
Yeah.
they can face, 30 or 40 or 90 days in jail.
Well, that's the thing that's screwed up about the Electoral College for me is that it's based not on popular vote at all. It's based on these electors.
It's based on delegates.
And if these electors want to vote separately from the popular vote in their
Right.
state, they can.
And if you follow it through the primaries and everything, it's all about getting the current amount. And then when you start doing, stately stuff, that's when you start getting amounts in.
Yeah.
And that's in lies where my frustration is at, because I realize it's their right to be on the ballot, but if you're going to be on the ballot and it not be, or how do I want to
and
say,
you not
quote
have any
unquote,
chance of
be
winning?
a wasted vote.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be a wasted vote if half of the population decided to vote for you.
Right.
That wouldn't be a wasted vote.
It's a tough
if at
question.
the last minute, say in a horrible, terrible no-win situation, right? And you had the president and the vice president go down and they're gone. And then the other candidate, either something happens and he's gone, well then no one can run, right? Well, no, these guys would all get voted for, and good chance they would all be voted in.
Yeah. Do you guys remember?
That would be a horrible situation.
We had a governor way before you guys lived here named Mel Carnahan. He died in a plane wreck.
I do vaguely remember hearing about that.
So when he died, it was just a couple months prior to an election, and he was already on the ballot for it was a Senate race. And
he won.
After he died, he still won, and his wife took his seat for him.
That happened in Illinois roughly around the same time with Vince DiMuzio.
Yes.
Similar deal.
She just passed away. He died of colon cancer, and I believe it was like just days after the election. Like he died, he won the election, died, and was never sworn in.
Yeah.
And she stood in for him, swore in, and then
Was that Deanna?
yeah.
Wow.
And then she had I think 2 or 3 terms. She went on to do more afterwards.
Wow.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was cool. She just recently passed away too.
I think Mel Carnahan, for people that have lived in Missouri their whole life, is nice. We're looking at some of Scott's beautiful graphic work.
Yeah, so there was the 3 of us in a hot tub.
Yeah.
Soup.
Yeah.
Actual photo.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not a face and whole photo at all.
Nope.
Pre-COVID.
That's
Yeah, during COVID even.
I said pre-COVID.
yeah, right. Well, man, I think I don't know. I think whatever happens, I think it's going to be a weird few months for America.
Oh, it's definitely going to be weird.
I agree.
No doubt about that. Yeah. There you go.
I just hope that it
Dang it.
that it remains peaceful.
Yeah, I do too.
We're going to listen back to this and be like, we had no fucking clue.
As long as it's not The World's End. You ever seen that flick? The World's End, about the guys going on the last pub drink or pub crawl or whatever.
Yeah,
and
just watched it with you today.
And the world actually ends. It
I don't
was
know.
On, what channel was that? The
IFC.
The IFC channel.
I've seen a movie or two with basically that same type
It's a
of plot.
British
It's
flick.
a Simon
Okay, then
Simon Pegg flick.
I gotcha. Yeah, I
It's
haven't seen it
ridiculous. Yeah.
then. I've been trying to find a good new comedy. Jesse's been watching Schitt's Creek. You guys watch that?
Uh-uh.
I haven't.
I've been watching New Girl.
I think I've heard of that. What's that? Is it Netflix?
It was a Fox sitcom.
Wasn't it?
Zoe Deschanel.
I know who that is.
She basically lives in a flat with 4 guys, and it's just their shenanigans.
Okay.
But it's funny because the theme song at first was "Who's that girl? It's Jess." And so Katie is like, "Can we watch Who's That Girl? It's Jess." And she thinks it's a movie and not a TV show.
Right, she's like, "Let me watch that
she's
movie."
further along in it than what I am because I'm old and I fall asleep 9 times out of 10.
It's so hard to watch an entire series when you're a parent. It's so
It's hard, period.
I don't get the same enjoyment from television as I did when I was a teenager and a young adult. I have too many irons in the fire.
Yeah.
A lot of them I'm avoiding, like mainly photography right now. I have so many edits that need to be done, and I'm just like,
Yeah, don't have time to get...
I just can't get my brain to like switch on and say, let's do this.
That's the hard part
I'm
for me.
struggling
Yeah.
right now.
The shooting is the fun part.
Yeah.
The recording is the fun part.
Yeah.
See,
The editing.
That's the
man.
not so fun part.
but I go through spurts where I'm like, I dread the going and taking the pictures, and I can't wait to edit. And then I go through other spurts where I'm like, yay, I shot them, and now I gotta edit them. FML.
Yeah.
That happens, though. I mean, that happens.
And this time of year is just always busy in general because you guys are busy at work.
Yep.
The kids seem to be busier with stuff. There's fall things that you want to do, which was hard to do this year because we didn't go to a pumpkin patch like we normally do. We haven't had a fire like we normally do.
Yeah.
We wanted to carve pumpkins on Friday, but neither one of ours could have cared less.
Yeah, our
too.
kids didn't want to.
They did paint pumpkins with their friends.
That was
Saturday
the weird
morning.
thing, I thought.
Like
and
the
and I had
little
a,
ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, and I had a friend. He had a boy Katie's age, and he didn't want to go trick or treating this year.
I'm kind of that kid though
He
because
just didn't want to do it.
I hated dressing up for Halloween when I was younger.
I had a
Aw,
bad...
Come on, that was fun.
I had
No,
a bad
thank you.
Halloween experience.
Anxiety.
Well,
I was dressed up like a vampire one year. I was probably in like 2nd grade. and I was going up the stairs to go up to this house to trick or treat, and I fell.
Oh.
I fell down the steps, and like my mouth was bleeding and
Oh,
stuff.
damn.
So
So you really did look like a vampire.
I really did look like a vampire there for a while. So that was my traumatic Halloween experience. But I still trick or treated after that.
That just rubbed some dirt on it, went back out there and got some more candy.
Well, no, I didn't go more that night. I was done that night. But I didn't let it keep me down the next year.
hey,
See, for me, I think I was pretty much, and I said just a minute ago, anxiety for me. And my anxiety as a kid was never really diagnosed. Like, now looking back, holy moly.
Yeah, you've had a lot of it.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, it's rampant on both sides in my family.
well, what made you so anxious, though?
I don't know.
Was it going out and being around other kids? Too
Well,
many
that's
kids out?
That's the argument, is that kids don't have anything to be anxious about. But I mean, they do.
I differ. I do not agree with that. I feel like for me it was a couple different things. I mean, I grew up kind of with this chip, if you will, that I was the unwanted kid, and so I always felt like out of place, and I never could really identify with kids my age. Like, I was always around adults, so I found it easier to talk to adults. And so being around youth my age made me nervous because of that reason. I didn't know how to react to them or respond to them or, you know, have conversations because I was always with my grandparents or I was always with my aunt. You know, my mom was out doing her things. And so or if I was with her, of course, she was always around adults because she did like some sort of home health care. So it was always geriatric age is what I was around. And then as I got older, of course, when you hit those fun ages of like 12 and 13, and you start to become really aware of everything and how you're not good enough and you're not popular enough and you're not skinny enough and you don't fit all these little boxes and molds and things.
Right.
It was just like, I can remember the first 2 weeks of school every year in middle school. I would make myself a nervous wreck that I would throw up every morning. And my mom thought I was bulimic. And it wasn't that I was bulimic. I was just a freaking ball of nerves.
Yeah.
And I had to get through the first hurdle, if you will. And then I was fine after that.
Yeah, I remember having that for that first like couple weeks of school.
But it was
Like,
just...
oh God, we're back doing this again.
And do you remember... So one thing that we used to do when we were in elementary school, we have the Easter bonnet parade.
Oh God, yes.
Fucking hated
I
that.
loved
That was the
that.
stupidest shit ever.
I loved it.
Or we'd have the Halloween costume parade.
I loved that too.
No, see, this is me. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't want to be... I thought it was dumb. I hated it.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of Halloween, is you can wear
Right.
something and nobody knows who you are.
Yeah,
You
no.
know?
No.
So
Didn't
for
work that
the
way in your brain.
Easter bonnet, I always wore my mom's colander upside down every year. And it
real?
was dumb as shit. I
Oh,
did the same
nice.
thing every year.
Oh my God, I thought they were so stupid. I
was
remember one
amazing.
year... I didn't even participate. It was 4th grade. I didn't participate, but I had to walk.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes, when I
Lame.
was there, they started handing out to the people who didn't participate, like little
Ears.
headband thingies that they could wear if they wanted.
I don't know. Like, that's where the anxiety for me came in because I've always felt like out of place. And I mean, I'm a nail biter still to this day.
So is my wife. Yep. That's her only like real
My
bad
knee?
habit that she has, though.
Oh my gosh, so it was funny the other day at work. Dakota and I were sitting and we were out of sync, bouncing our knees. And our boss goes, if you guys could just sync up, that would be great. Because
Yeah.
she was going this way and I was going this way.
And neither one of you
And-
probably were even aware of
It
it.
was like you were
Yeah.
shaking paint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
The whole floor is...
And I think it's comical because I'm in a new office now, he's very anxious too. And like, I see his things. Like when he gets...
You see his little ticks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I think now that I'm completely aware of it, it's amazing to me how many people do have anxiety and they
Yeah.
don't even realize it. Because my previous office, I totally diagnosed that boss and
was
said,
gonna say.
dude, you have anxiety. And now she takes medicine for it and she's totally chill.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see?
Yeah.
I'm like, so many people don't even realize they have it. And if people like Scott can deal with it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him that he's not like me and has to be medicated.
Not all the time.
But for me, I know if I don't, because I'm one of those people that I'm not very well behaved and disciplined with taking it. And I get to where I'm feeling good and then I forget.
Yeah.
And then I fall off the wagon, and life is hell for him, and so I apologized.
Yeah, dude, I know what it's like.
But then it's like, it's awful. I hate it. I tell him there's times where I'll be in like a moment and I'll be crying and I'll be like, why can't they just flip a switch in my brain and just be done? And I even tell the doctor sometimes, I'm like, I would just be good if I was at a constant, like, just a constant, but you know, a straight line. I have no highs. I have no lows. She's like, Andrea, but we want you to feel.
Right.
Yes, doctor, but I don't want to feel.
Well,
can you fix that for me?
That's the thing, though, man, is you got to have the lows with the highs.
I know.
I mean, I used to take anxiety medication all the time. I don't these days.
Yeah, and some people can wean themselves off, and I think more power to them. Great. They find things that work for them.
Well, I never judge anybody, man, because we're all on our own path.
Right.
What works for you doesn't necessarily work for me. Like, I know for me, like, I've gone down the path of, like, the antidepressants. And for me, that made me twice as worse.
I don't want to go down that path.
I didn't want to go down that path either.
I really
It was a doctor that basically told me that I needed to. And,
Right.
you know, you're taught to believe
you
that your
gotta-
doctor is always right. And I don't
whatever.
think... Yeah. I don't think that's the case, man. I think most doctors are pushing products that are being pushed to them.
Right.
You know, it's a money maker. It's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business.
So I got started when Jonah was 1. My grandma told me, she's like, you're going to have a nervous breakdown. You need to get on something.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, because I was having real tiffs with my mom at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was one point they were working different medicines, and it was great. I was talking about how I was like, I didn't feel anything. I didn't get, and the doctor was like, yeah, we have to tweak this. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when I was pregnant with Katie, I had to go down off of them because they're not safe for pregnancy.
Right.
And I can remember as soon as she was born, I was like, okay, start me back up.
Yeah. Was it hard to get off of them?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and I've been changing it recently, and it's not easy, and I feel sorry for the people that I live with because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part about it is that you see yourself spiraling, but yet you can't rein yourself in enough to say, dude, you got this.
Yeah.
Because you're so caught in the moment.
Yeah. I've been there, man. I've been there. It's a tough thing. Anxiety is a tough thing. And I think a big part of it is just that we're taught to ignore it.
We're taught that mental illness isn't an illness.
Right.
Because you can't see it.
Right.
But yet you can see it when the person is crumbling.
And I think it's even more so when you're a dude. Because dudes are never supposed to need...
We're not supposed to have feelings.
No.
Right. Yeah, essentially.
I mean, I see it with our son.
Boys don't cry.
Our son
Right.
has anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, does he ever?
I mean, I will watch him chew his fingernails, the skin around them. There's certain things that he doesn't want to do, the social part of things. Like, we
go grocery shopping, like, every week, every other week?
Mm-hmm, roughly.
And he just, like, as of late, has refused to go because it's too many people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when we go to Aldi's or we'll go to Walmart and we come walking in, he's just overwhelmed.
Is
And
he?
see, I used to be overstimulated like that. I would feel like the walls were I was climbing to get out of there. And so I don't pressure him anymore because, one, he's old enough to stay here
Yeah.
for the time that it takes us to go grocery
Right,
shop.
yeah.
And,
Well, I mean, we can get it done in about an hour, 2 hours tops, 3 max.
and
And he's good here usually with a tablet and we have a phone at home dedicated with a line so he can pick it up
He
and
needs
call
to
us.
get a hold of
and
you,
he calls
yeah.
us sometimes,
Yeah.
where are you at?
Where
Why
you
are you
at?
taking so long?
Does he have neighborhood friends that come over and hang sometimes?
He's a loner.
No.
Yeah. Were you that way when you were a kid too, Scott?
Only because I had to be.
Yeah.
Like, there was no one else around.
Right.
I remember riding my bike, like, uptown and trying to make friends, but there wasn't a whole lot of kids around.
Yeah. Small town.
Yeah, very small.
But that's not that way for Jonah, man. I think he goes to a pretty big school.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem he
He's-
lies into is that he is the weird kid.
Well,
And cognitively, yes, at the age, he'll be 11 in a couple of weeks.
right.
Cognitively, he
He's-
should be an 11-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he should have been able to go out and walk with his friends for, like, Halloween.
But I
Right.
think he's probably 7.
Yeah, I'd say he's 6.
He
7.
identifies with younger kids. Mm-hmm. And so part of that too, I read something, I forget what they call it. You can hold them when they're in kindergarten and not send them till they're a little bit older.
Right.
And I kick myself for not holding him just one more year until he was ready.
Right.
But then now you've got this year, and he started his ADHD medication that we've fought to not, we've tried every other avenue to not do that. And the dude is just killing school this year. I mean, he's
banging.
doing so good.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that.
I hated that, though.
I
hate that it took medication to get him to do that.
Yeah.
But,
we tried everything we could, too, man.
Well, that's the right way to do it, man. I mean, explore other options.
Right.
he's focused at school when he needs to be, and then he comes home and turns back into normal Jonah when he's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster when he's here.
But, why wouldn't he be? This is his safe place.
Right.
I sometimes wish that he would behave like he does at school.
I know, man. That's I guess that's when you're doing it right, is when other people are always saying like, "Oh man, your kids are so great."
Right.
That's great, but I would love to see that. At least if they're doing it out there away from us, then we've taught them something.
Right.
So I was telling Scott that our daughter's friends, so they, I've gotten to be kind of close with the mom since they moved. They came here in February. They relocated from Texas. Dad is a Army recruiter. And so they have 5 kids. Mom's a stay-at-home mom. And we've just kind of gotten to have a good banter with each other. And it's nice because she doesn't make me feel bad about my parenting choices, and I sure as shit don't make her feel bad about her parenting choices.
Yeah.
Well, we've kind of started to develop that relationship. Like, hey, our kids, can we give them to you for like, a couple hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she had an elective surgery that she had to do. It was outpatient a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago, and she's like, is there any way that just 2 girls can come over? I was like, absolutely. That's
Cool.
fine.
Yeah.
Bring them over.
Yeah.
I will help you however.
That's awesome.
We all went
And
trick-or-treating last night, and the girls wanted to go to
We-
another neighborhood with us, so
Yeah.
we piled in the car and went.
Cool.
so I did pictures yesterday morning for a local family, and while the kids were at their house, I keep hitting this. I'm sorry.
I know. Watch
I'm
out.
I'm a hot mess tonight.
Watch out.
Andrea's a hand talker.
She's a
I
talky,
am.
handy person.
I am too sometimes.
So,
it's okay.
the kids were hanging out with the friend, the parent, and when I got done, I went there and just kind of hung out with them for a little bit because we were going to do like pumpkin stuff, and they were like, I think this was our excuse to carve pumpkins because the kids just went downstairs and played. And I was
Yeah.
like, we're, no
So you
worries.
carved him anyway?
They did. I didn't get
Yeah.
to, but
We didn't.
the-
It was over at their house. Their
Yeah.
kids carved pumpkins. Our kids didn't want to.
Yeah.
They painted.
They all painted,
Yeah,
except
they
for
painted.
Dad. Dad did carve his pumpkin, which is super funny. And it's funny because Scott hadn't met Dad yet, and I said, Dad reminds me of Seth MacFarlane. That's who he looks like.
He
to
does
me.
kind of
Does
a
he?
little
He's
bit.
very nice. I mean, he's definitely military as far as like how he carries himself and so forth. But he's a really nice guy.
He's got that firm military
Yes.
handshake too.
Mhm. Yeah, you know that.
Oh
man.
yeah.
And so they took me back because I was sitting there at their island and we were just talking and they go, we were discussing and we want to keep the kids for you so you can go away for a weekend. Just whenever coming up. And I looked at them and I was like, you have 5 kids. Yeah, but what's 2 more?
Yeah, right. When you have
Right.
that many.
When you got 5.
And
I
they're
mean,
like,
yeah.
we just know that that's a huge thing and that you don't have anything here and you help us out and we help you out. I mean, because they've been great as far as helping us out. We just kind of back and forth kind
That's
of thing.
awesome.
And I keep telling her that one
well, and
night,
our girls are best friends too.
right?
That helps.
That's how they all met.
Sure.
Yeah.
They were in 1st grade together, which
Mm-hmm.
was great, and they just kind of took to each other. And so now they're in 2nd grade together, and they don't as much at school, but outside of school they're
Yeah.
more
They're still
together.
buddies. Yeah.
And so the dad was telling me that, he'll have to probably move again coming up because that's what recruiters do. And he
Yeah,
said, well,
that
probably 2022, 2023. And I'm like, you telling me that now makes me sad.
Yeah.
But at least we'll get to, form some good friendships in the meantime.
Absolutely.
But just the
Right.
fact that they wanted to keep our kids, I'm like, what?
You're like,
And I would totally let them do it because I trust them.
Yeah.
They're great parents and they're very, I mean, they were even telling me, I took their fall pictures here a few weeks ago. It was the same weekend I did yours. that they're thinking about having number 6, and I was
That's
like,
insane.
How far are they spread out, the
What?
kids?
So
10?
the oldest is 10. The next one is Katie's age, so 7. And then they've got 5, 3, and
then
1.
there's the little itty bitty baby.
And she just turned 1.
Yeah.
Man.
So, and the oldest is from a previous relationship, but Dad took him in, and that's one of his. And
Does he call him Dad?
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
oh
cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
His dad game is strong. I can understand why she wants more.
Yeah,
babies.
his dad game
He's a
is
good dad.
His dad game is on point.
He's a good dad. I mean, he was even really calm and smooth with Jonah. So over the summer, Jonah asked to ride their son's bike, and he said, "Yeah, go for it." And Ezekiel, the son, said, "Yeah, that's fine. You can ride the bike, whatever." And so Jonah's riding it around the school playground, and he got going too fast and couldn't turn it, and just right into the chain link fence. And oh my gosh, the kid was beat up.
Yeah, he got
The fence
scratched
kicked
all
his
up.
ass.
Oh, no.
And so I walk over to him and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And of course, Jonah, being our son, is like,
He's overreacting.
you know, having a cow.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I can't walk, Mom." I was like, "Well, get on the bike and I'll push you."
No, not what a great mom.
Get on the bike and I'll push you. Because then
Can't walk, then ride a fucking bike, kid.
here it gets better. So Dad walks over and he's in his fatigues. He'd just gotten off work and he walks over and he's like, "I think you should," he's like, "just try pedaling a little bit. It'll help it go faster getting over there." And before he knew it, he had like psychied Jonah, and Jonah was riding the bike again.
Nice.
I mean, he was smooth. And I
Yeah.
looked at the mom and I was like, his dad game is strong.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've learned about being a dad is like it's all about redirecting, as opposed to they don't want to hear you say, "Don't do that, don't do that." But if you can distract them and point them in another direction,
Sometimes that works.
I
Just
know
wait.
it doesn't always work.
I will gladly.
My kids aren't as sophisticated as yours are yet.
I've never had good luck with that.
With the redirecting?
Yeah, With misdirection. I've never had good luck with that with my kids. My kids have always, maybe it's because they can read me, I guess. I don't know. They've always seen right through it.
Yeah. Sometimes for me, it's not even like misdirection so much as it's just like distraction. Like, hey, what was that over there? And then they forget.
No, mine don't.
Yeah, well.
Mainly it's because if it's like I'm trying to distract them from something they really want to do, and so they're hyper
fixated
focused
on it,
on that one thing, and so I'm like, hey, here's something shiny over here. They're like, yeah, I don't care, I want that. Crap.
Parenting, man, it's the toughest job in the world. I think.
Oh, yes. And it's a lifetime commitment. Damn it.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm learning.
I
is,
love that. Damn it.
Going into this thing, I thought, okay, this is going to be kind of,
Yeah, I got a good 20 in me.
This is going to be a struggle for the first few years, but after we get in there, and then like the more parents I talk to, the more I hear like it doesn't
horror
get any
stories.
easier.
Oh, that's the worst.
It gets worse. It gets worse.
Yeah. But here's the beauty for you, is what I found out. Because you're a boy dad. So they're pretty rambunctious when they're younger, but I hear when they get to be teens, it's not as bad. Whereas in our case, we have a female.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot me now, because at 7, she's already moody
Oh man.
and opinionated.
Yeah. Just wait till she hits 7th
She
grade.
was listening to my headphones earlier, and I think it was like the Monster Mash or something. And man, she was wiggling her booty down the stairs.
Was she? She was jamming out to
She was
Monster
ja-
Mash,
Yeah,
huh?
she was jamming out hard.
She had some sass in that ass. It was bad.
I tried to teach one of my students. I tried to convince one of my students that we should learn Monster Mash for Halloween the other night, but I couldn't talk
No,
her into it.
no.
And I realized this. There's a million Christmas songs, but there's really not.
There's not a
that
whole
many.
lot.
I mean, there's like Thriller, of course.
You've got Superstitious, Thriller.
Yeah, but even Superstitious to
Right.
me
Yeah.
doesn't really feel like a Halloween
Yeah.
song.
Well, this is Halloween.
I always feel like there's
Who's
somebody
that?
watching me.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
I don't know that one.
Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Halloween.
from that
or
movie,
Nightmare
okay.
Before Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like the title from that.
Okay.
And both of you
You've
don't-
never seen
both-
that movie?
Both
I have, but only
I've not
because
seen
Jonah's
it.
watched it. It's not really.
I've only-
I
it's
don't
always been
like
on.
the dark.
Yeah.
Tim Burton stuff doesn't attract to me. Like
Yeah, like the
James
stop
and the
motion stuff?
Giant Peach, and
Yeah.
not my thing.
I never really got into that stuff either, but I know there's a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas fans out there.
Oh yeah.
He's a pretty smart dude, that Tim Burton.
Well, it just dawned on me the other day that the Blink-182 song, when they say, well, something like Jack and Sally, that's a reference to Nightmare Before Christmas. I had no idea.
Me neither.
So shout out to Ashley for putting that on there, because I was like, oh, because this was like another coworker that dressed up like, what is it, Jack Pumpkin and Sally?
Sure. Jack the Pumpkin King or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Is it Sally? It's not Sally Frankenstein, is it?
I have no clue.
But
What's your favorite Halloween movie? Not like the franchise Halloween, but like, what's your favorite scary movie?
Scary movie?
Yeah, like a Halloween movie.
The original Halloween is probably one of the best in terms of like just scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoy that one.
Yeah. Almost.
Why are you giving me the shaky head? No.
because that's not a genre I like, so
Yeah. I'm not a big scary movie guy either, really.
I
I
don't.
used to be a lot more into it.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, I'm like, meh.
Scary movies for me now are almost always documentaries, like scary documentaries,
Like real life.
real life
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
because people are scary.
Because that's
people
scarier.
are scary and real life is scary, and it's usually scarier than fiction.
So there's this chick on social media. Her name's Bailey. I don't know what her last name is, but she does like makeup tutorials, and she talks about like the real scary people. And some of her stories, I told Scott,
You mean
it's
like she tells stories like
It's
actual
like a
scary stories?
crime
It's like
podcast
drunk history.
makeup tutorial.
but it's like
It's so weird.
yes. And it's interesting because this one story she was talking about was about this lady. I can't even remember her name, but it like I could care less about the makeup that she was doing, but just listening to her talk about it
Yeah.
was entertaining in itself. And I'm like, huh, who knew?
Yeah, those makeup tutorials are like a huge thing these days.
Right?
You know what makes me sad is that a lot of the makeup tutorials that they do that are done and they're like on top notch are all gay guys.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't it be? Those guys.
And those
They
and
know what they're
there's
doing.
there's a young boy who does them, and he puts makeup on better than I do, and I've been putting makeup on for at least 20 years.
Yeah, but you've never broke it down like he has.
That's right.
He's broken it down almost
It's
to
an
a
art.
science, right?
It is
It's
an
an art
art.
for him.
Gay dudes know how to dress, man.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all in the look.
Yeah.
So why
absolutely.
wouldn't those gay guys be that way?
It just makes me sad. That
What I
I'm
don't
like,
understand
I
is-
can't tap into that.
Well, I get that.
Chicks love gay male friends, don't they?
If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
if you're going artsy though, I can't wrap my brain around those guys that can do flames. They could just say it on a piece of paper and grab a pen and just whip out like fire and flames and shit.
Jana's dad
Yeah, he could do that.
can paint those.
We have a
things.
friend that he does auto body work.
Cool.
Used
And-
to.
Used to and would do that.
Now he's St. Nicholas.
Yeah, he's Santa Claus now.
Right on.
We've talked
Like-
about him before.
Right.
Does he play Santa Claus
Every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's become basically the local Santa Claus.
Around
Around our old area,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. I was gonna say maybe my kids have been in his lap. A
No,
time or
man,
two.
I doubt it.
Oh.
Unless
think-
you're driving 3 hours.
No.
But
no.
we've actually, when our kids were really little, we actually have drove 3 hours.
He makes a good Santa. I
He
think
is
he
a
may
good
have shown me
Santa.
that. I think he may have
Yeah.
shown me a picture of that.
And
dude
this
before.
is him in the off season.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, perfect.
I went and got my hair cut the other day, and there was a Santa there.
Yeah.
And he was like, yep. And somebody was like, well, what did you get last time? And he's like, well, it's been a year since I've been here. I only get a haircut once a year. She's
Yeah.
like, well, why? And he goes, because it's Santa season. And he was
Yeah.
all big blinging.
Nice.
And he looks over at me, and he was like, you'd make a good Santa, too, with that white coming in. And I was like, damn it.
Ah, damn it. I got sucked in.
It's like, damn.
Yeah.
I am not going to become a Santa.
You don't like kids.
I don't like kids, to be
After
honest.
seeing Bad Santa, you know.
No. I mean, my kids are okay.
Bad Santa's a pretty funny movie.
Do you need to take a break?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can take a break.
Take a break. Let's
Yeah.
break it.
Let's break.
Let's break it.
Subscribers get bonus content and early access to episodes. Find out more at patreon.com/the Old 77 podcast. Call or text the Old 77 listener line at 573-246-0779. Thanks for listening to the one and only Old 77.